All right. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, July 9th. We're taking a look at NASDAQ yesterday. Very slow inside day. Taking a look at 5 minute RTH chart here on NQ. We could see the entirety of yesterday's session was within Monday's session. So we have a true inside day. Pretty tight action yesterday. We had mentioned before closing the stream that it would likely be a range day between that 950 and 850, and that is pretty much exactly what we saw. Anytime you have price opening within the prior day's range, and then we get an hour and a half into the session and price has not left that previous day's range, more than likely you're going to have an inside day on your hands. More than likely it's going to be a slower day. And so there's something you want to keep in mind if you got chopped up yesterday, if you got a little bit beat up in the chop, work on identifying and understanding those slower, more range bound sessions, what leads to actually having a session like that, and how you can work on identifying it earlier in the day so you can avoid some of that choppiness, some of that range bound action. I know those can definitely be tougher sessions. Once you get better at kind of identifying and understanding when those days are more likely, it does get a bit easier to navigate a day like that. But until then, a day like yesterday is always going to be a little bit trickier. Now, that brings us to today. What are we looking at for today? Typically, anytime we have that inside day, what I like to see is how the inside day is going to break, which direction is price going to break in. And then the general rule of thumb with an inside day break is to trade in the direction of the break. As of right now, we have price right up into the prior day high. Prior day high is 962.75, it looks like. Yeah, right through there. And so what we want to see is whether buyers are going to be able to trigger that break of the inside day pretty much right off the open. Open is here in 6 minutes. So we want to see that reaction of prior day high. That's going to be the primary focus for this morning. Pretty straightforward. If price can actually show acceptance above the prior day high, most likely we'll see a test into 23K and then potentially into the all time high up at 102.5. Now, if prior day high rejects, price will still be within the previous day's range. I'll be most interested in reactions at 900 and then the prior day low, should that actually transpire. So, prior day high, main focus this morning, especially early on in the session. We can see higher time frame showing us just more, as of right now, just more consolidation, right? So, we have a pretty substantial expansion move here. This was the 6 days of just vertical price action. Anytime you have a big expansion, what follows? Well, typically some compression. Now we get that compression. So trend, range, expansion, compression, balance, imbalance. These are all terms for the exact same thing. Some different schools of thought, but pretty much the exact same thing. So as of right now, price just in that consolidation, in that compression. Pretty typical for this time of year. It's typically pretty slow. We've actually been getting a bit lucky with those trade headlines to bring in a little bit of volatility. So that has actually been helpful for us as traders. Brings in a little bit of market movement. Yesterday we had a couple of headlines. Price still remained in the range, but at least we had a couple of little bouts of volatility. That can definitely help the day with those velocity and momentum moves. There's your overnight high. Fresh overnight high being made right now, 965.75. Prior day high right through here, 962.75. VWAP, the prior day close, prior day volume point of control way down there at 900. That's also the level of interest. We've got, at least for the overnight session, the volume point of control down here at 891, as well as a high volume node right up here at, what is that, 937. And about 3 minutes until the open. All right, 2 minutes till the RTH open, the regular open, 9:30 a.m. You have ES already up and through the prior day high. Looks like that's at about 6289. If you like to trade the S&P, RTY also into the prior day high. Yeah, we have the bullish backdrop, absolutely. And here comes the open. 5 seconds. Strong open into the 23K already. That was fast. That was fast. I would have preferred an open a little closer to prior day high for that opening drive trade, but this market's for you. So we'll see that reaction here near 23K. NQ just up and through. Yeah, that 102 level, that all-time high, really the next upside significant level there. Fresh highs being made. ES up and through the overnight high. RTY just now bumping into overnight high. Ray passed on the 23K retest. That was hardly a retest there. It was barely a retest. Not so fast, Dom. Not so fast, man. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on, man. So 100 is that upside target here. Hey, it's a factual statement. It's a factual statement. There's a little bit of exhaustion there on the 1 minute. No follow through. At least not yet on that 1 minute exhaustion bar. Good spot to trim and lift the trail, if you ask me. Trim and lift. Trim and lift. Finding the pivot on the higher time frames, probably all this is going to be pretty easy to get through. Really, it's going to be the 100. That's the major level up here, major pivot. Trail is currently near 21. A little more exhaustion there on that 1 minute. RTY, nice hold of the prior day high, coming into session highs now. Momentum slowing. Momentum definitely slowing here. Yeah, my preference would have been for an open just beneath that prior day high. Gives you a good entry for the opening drive setup. Couldn't do it this morning with the opening drive anyway, so just look for the first available pullback. In this case, just a micro pullback into the 23K level. Very aggressive entry. Very, very aggressive. You could see I'd trim some into session highs. Which is barely anything on the setup. And now we're just still riding. I'm going to lift that trail up just beneath 30. And again, we're looking for 100. Probably cut it around 95 or so if we get up there. Yeah, backdrop is definitely helpful for an entry like that, no doubt. And the idea, I mean, we were already seeing price up and through the prior day high, so the inside day break idea was there. The backdrop is bullish, bullish. And if you're willing to take an opening drive trade, which I was, then this entry is kind of in that same realm, if you ask me. Very slight new high of day. I'm actually going to lift the trail just beneath 35. Give it enough breathing room, but protecting my downside there. Risk is dynamic. Never forget. Never forget it. Target's 100, man. What are you talking about? 50 more points. What are you talking about? Don't you know we're going for the whimsical targets these days? The dream targets. We're trading our plan, Chrissy. Even if it's nonsense. We get a fresh high here. I'll lift the trail just beneath 40. Can you backtest with a trailing stop? I have no idea. I am not a backtester. Wrong guy to ask. No idea on that one. See that new high here, NQ. Yeah, forward test. Like the forward test, Benny. You could forward test with a simulator. That way there's no risk, but 10 years of trading, I've never backtested once. I do that may not be entirely true because I definitely do review end of day, easiest money play of the day. So an argument could be made that that kind of is like a form of backtesting. Chart review, trade review, even if you're not in the setup. But as far as like actual algorithmic backtesting, that is out of my wheelhouse. Let's take a look here. Here's your target. Higher time frame structure target. My trail's at 38. I don't love giving back 30 points of unrealized profit, but the target is still 40 points higher. So trying to let this thing breathe. If we get a new high of day here, I'll lift the trail up into about 47. First couple of red 1 minute bars there on the day. And the 5 minute. Oh, you almost had a doji. Almost. Today's a good example. There's your new high. This morning's a very good example as to why you don't want to fade pre 10 a.m. directional strength. Like if you want to short this, just wait till post 10 a.m. If you want to fade the trend. That was a nice push. We're about I do have to trail more tightly now. It's going to be a little less than 1-to-1 on this trail here. So I'm going to trail just beneath 60. Chrissy's out. Nice work, man. Well done. Well done. I'll put an order out at 95. They could have it just ahead of the all-time high. Here it comes, man. I got to trail much tighter now. Trail just beneath 70. Yeah, they were waiting for Chrissy to get out, give us that next leg. Final target at 100. Yes, sir. I'll let them have that one at 95. Trail up into 73 here. Getting very, very close to target. Like I said, as price gets closer to target, you don't want to give too much back with a trail. The risk to reward becomes asymmetrical in an unfavorable way. So if we get the new high right here, I'll trail at 78. Still just riding this thing. We're 70 points floating profit right now. What time is it? All right. We got 10 a.m. data as well. It's 9:47. New high. Give us the new high. Come on. There's your new high. Trail 77 personally. Yeah, they could have it here. They want it, they can have it. I'm good. Still in. Great volume this morning. Oh, one tick away from the trail. One tick away. Here it comes. Oh my goodness. 76.75. Wow, I can't believe that held on. Normally I'm the one getting taken out to the tick. All right, I gotta lift it. I'll go just beneath 80. Like I said, my order's at 95. So how much do you want to give back for an extra 5 points? Not that much. Basically there. Lift a little more. Come on, come on. Give me 95. Trail 85. There we go. There it is. Locked and loaded, back to cash. Wednesday morning delight. Man, we haven't seen one like that in a while. Wow. Wow. So the idea, just to kind of recap, I really wanted the opening drive today. Did not set up in a way that I can actually get involved. So ideally, what I would want to see is the open kind of right here, and I'll just put a limit buy above the prior day high. Unfortunately, that kind of got front ran, so I can't do anything with it. we see price put in a pretty strong decisive move right off the open, right? So we have the bullish backdrop, and then we have the inside day break in a bullish manner. The next question is then, where can I find an entry? Typically, I need a reference point or level of interest. At this time, we had 23K as a level of interest. So around 23K, I'm looking for any sort of micro time frame entry. You see the kind of micro pullback right there into 23K gives me a really good spot to set risk against. We take the long, trim some off into highs just to kind of reduce a little bit, just in case there's a rejection here. And then we're in for the ride. Pretty nice. Benny, you were in there. Nice, man. Nicely done. I know Dom was in there. Anyone else catch any piece? I know Chrissy was in there. Anyone else with a piece of that? Look at the volume now that's being done up near the highs. So this is why I front ran the 100 a little bit, because my assumption is that sellers are definitely going to be trying near 100, and so I'd rather have like an absolute exit rather than trying to squeeze an extra 5 points out of it, especially after a 80-point ripper. And this is exactly why we can see that 100 has not actually traded yet. And if you take a look at my exit so far, I mean, damn near top ticked it. So that's kind of the logic behind having an order there around 95. Dave got some, Chad got some of that, Kevin got some. Nice. Nice work. Nice work. Now, if you missed it or you passed on it or anything like that, your job right now is to make sure that you're not feeling FOMO, that you're not wanting to chase. If you feel any sort of hotness, your palms are sweating, or you're a little emotional, just take a break. Just take a 10 or 15-minute break to cool off. I never retracement on the way down. Yeah, that's a nightmare right there. Just to have it continuously roll over on you. Got to be careful with that. We do have a data print in about 4 minutes. We have a lot of volume being done up here, just shy of the all-time high. So at this point, I'll just wait till post 10 a.m. Careful with the data print, still pending. 3 minutes. Yeah, see that RTY into overnight high as well. Let's check out ES. ES into some resistance here, 63.13. Reference point, definitely not as strong as NASDAQ this morning. See NASDAQ just shy of the all-time high. And Q, there's like a pretty much a picture perfect inside day break right there. Inside day yesterday. You could also technically call this gap and go setup. This is a tricky spot here now, just shy of the all-time high with all the volume through price up here. I'd prefer to see price up and through 100 before getting involved again, or honestly, all the way back down to 23K. We'll see how these next 5 to 10 minutes unfold. Let's take a look at the intraday fib. Now, we don't have much alignment or any alignment with the fib buy zone or anything like that with other reference points. So that's out of the question for me. There's 10 a.m. NQ new high of day, just shy of the all-time high. There's your all-time high. NASDAQ all-time high. No re-entry for me personally. Just so far one and done this morning. We have the highest volume of the sesh just a minute ago on that data print. Dom, you're out of here. All right, man. Take care. Nice work today. Question is, will we see another decent entry? Or is this going to be a runaway train? Let's see, even that pre 10 a.m. pullback. What were we looking at then? Yeah, not even into the shallow fib, just very tight consolidation, reaccumulation pattern. Question right now is, does the all time high show some acceptance for some fresh price discovery? Or is this going to be more of a upthrust and the range continues to build out? I would be keeping an eye on the 15 and 30-minute charts, definitely. Pull back to 23K, Benny. Yeah. That would honestly be solid. 5 minutes showing some exhaustion here again. We'll see if that candle shows any follow through. So far, that all time high is not showing acceptance. Now, personally, out on short, so this sort of commentary for me is just kind of an overview of where might I want to be looking for longs again. Now, all through here is basically between 100 and the 23K is pretty much all no man's land, right? So our intraday fib retracements, fib buy zone anyway, is going to be somewhere through there. In this scenario, I wouldn't be getting involved with those just because there's no other reference point or level of interest alignment. So I would either need pretty much the two scenarios that I can trade here into late morning are going to be an extension move above the 100 that then offers some market structure entry, or a rejection up here at 100 that then comes into 23K, or a more developed intraday structure that is going to be more reliable to trade. Until then, just staying patient right now. Staying patient. ES starting to show a bit more rejection here, 63.13. 15-minute into prior bar low. More clues, more clues. See this right here? Good volume this morning. Volume holding up quite nicely. Structure continues to hold. This little consolidation. Have not taken any trades personally post 10 a.m. This very well could be a one and done morning. Structure's holding quite nicely. It's a good look for buyers. See how this next 15-minute bar closes in 2 minutes. This may take some time here before we get another worthwhile setup. Like I mentioned earlier, you want to keep an eye on those 5, 15, and 30-minute charts. Price is still in this structure in the next 15 minutes. I'll probably call it a morning. Like, look at the 5-minute here. Not much you can do with that. Barcode, a little consolidation. All right, Chrissy, take care, man. Nice work today. Nicely done on the long. Okay, so prior 15-minute bar, definitely showing a bit more exhaustion. We'll see if this pattern continues to just hold here or if price is actually going to break lower. So far, no new entries presented, at least for what I look for, at least for my strategies. So we still just have the one and done. If you're joining us late and you missed the explanation on that, just rewind the stream. It's all there. Full breakdown on that trade, full logic behind it. It's all there if you want to check it out. As of right now, I like to see either action above 23,100 or a move back down into the triple zero, the 23K. I can't do a lot in between those two levels just based on higher time frame structure right now. What's up, Max? Welcome in. And queue into the bottom of the structure here. 30-minute closure in 8 minutes should give us some more clues. Volume's starting to taper down a little bit here. Getting a bit slow. All right, 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes till I'm gonna call it a morning. I want to see that next 30-minute bar closure and the new bar open. See what we're working with then. As of right now, still just a one and done morning. One and done. Was the yellow line at 83? That's session volume point of control. So that shows us where the most volume has been transacted through price. So down here, you have volume through time. It shows you volume on each candle, which is going to be based on time. Volume profile shows you volume with a basically a different view, shows you which price points have transacted the most. And sometimes that can offer a significant reference point or more information about what price is doing. So for today, we can see that most of the volume, at least so far, has transacted at 83. So they have a big audience up through here. And that's fitting because it's just beneath the all-time high. So basically, this is either going to be reaccumulation for the breakout or this is distribution. Unfortunately, you don't know for sure until after, but tells you that this action up here is important, at least relatively speaking, at least in the near term. All right, NQ rolling over a bit more here. Start to take some intraday fibs, not for positioning, but just to gain some perspective on the depth of this pullback. So we're into the 38% fib. More volume coming in now. Cracking lower. Now, if you were looking for the shorts or trying the shorts, see how much easier they became after that 15-minute exhaustion bar closed and price moved beneath the low of that bar. If you try and rush it or you try and be the first one in, you're probably going to take some stops through here or at least have to sit through some chop. A little bit of patience goes a long way. There's your 50% fib. That's a fib buy zone. No entries through there for me personally. I typically like that area, that fib buy zone, to align with some other reference points or some level of interest. Hmm. QQQ at VWAP Confluence. I don't personally look at it like that. I don't really watch QQQ. I keep the analysis strictly on NQ. But if you like to pair them, If that's your play, then yeah, that can definitely be Confluence. Yeah, Rich, the fibs, I like to use the fibs as a tool to add confluence to an idea that I already liked. I don't like to use the fibs for positioning on their own. I've not found them to be super reliable, at least long term in that way. So while they are a useful tool, definitely they need to be used appropriately. There's your big washout back into 23K. We'll see if there's any buying interest here whatsoever. See what ES is doing. ES already back into the overnight range, back in a prior day high. Wow. Highest volume of the sesh right there. Did we have some news hit? Or is that just all the longs from earlier getting liquidated? Looks like no bid at 23K. Checking the news feeds right now. I don't see anything. Session low just beneath here. So pretty wild. We talked about that 5 minute exhaustion. We talked about that 15-minute exhaustion. Talked about it all. So we'll see if this ends up just being a range day like yesterday, 23K to 23,100, or if sellers are gonna step in more aggressively here. Session low is 978. Yeah, 978. Pretty limited bid here at 23K so far. One thing we talked about earlier was whether the 100 was going to be defended, and this structure just develops into a much larger range. It looks like that is so far panning out, something like this. Which personally I prefer, because trading at fresh all-time highs, not all that great. You don't have any levels of interest to really work with or anything like that. Not all that nice. See if we get that new low of day here. 978 is your current low. Volume's really good. Volume's great. There's your new low of day. Oh, not quite. Not quite. Yeah, there it is. There it is. And into prior day high. So prior day high fails, be back in the prior day range. And likely, probably see a pretty fast move into prior day low, into that 900, into prior day low. That was a decent little bounce there from prior day high. See if it holds. I got the trail in profit already. You need that one to go right away. You need it and you want it to go right away. Trail at 82. And trailed. And trailed. Tried a little, basically a little spring idea. Undercut the session low. You have some confluence with the prior day high and overnight high right through there. It was decent. Decent attempt, if you ask me. Not a trade I want to give a lot of breathing room on personally. I like those spring trades to go immediately. 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 And if I end up getting prematurely trailed, it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't really mind, especially after the 80 points we caught earlier. So I'm going to call it right there. Call it a morning. It's pretty good. 2 for 2. Main focus now remains this 23K overnight high, prior day high area. We have really good volume this morning, so definitely continue to stay active. Hope you guys had a good morning. We're going to keep it going in the Traders Think Tank here. Thanks for your time, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Don't forget FOMC minutes later today. Typically not a big market moving event. It's just the minutes. It's not an actual meeting, but still something that you just want to be aware of as a trader. All right, folks. Take care. We'll see you.